Hiya, I'm John. In August 2025, I was diagnosed with a massive brain tumour, and since then life's got a bit too exciting, a bit too lively for me. I've had a lot going on, but people say that I've been dealing with it really well, and a few have suggested that I should share what I've been doing. Maybe it'll help someone else. Maybe it'll help someone get through what they're going through, something similar to me. And if it does, I really hope it does, because it'll make what's happening here actually mean something. If you watch some of my videos, you're going to hear those words quite a lot. So I thought a bit of an introduction would be in order. Tell you what those words mean, but also introduce myself. So, this is who I am, and this is what's happened to me recently. I'm John. I'm just some ordinary bloke. Just an ordinary bloke. I'm from Bradford in Yorkshire, in the north of England, and I'm an English teacher in a secondary school. Yep, a Bradford lad teaching English. There's irony for you. But that's about it, really. Just a normal bloke with something growing in his head. That's about it. So, diagnosed in 2025 with a massive brain tumour. I've been having the symptoms for a few years. I didn't know what they were. For about 5 years before, I've been having these panic attacks. Pretty much at least one a day for 5 years. Occasionally I wouldn't have one. Sometimes a couple of times I went nearly a week without one. But pretty much at least one every day for 5 years. I put it down to some mental health problems, and being a bloke and being an idiot, I ignored them. Hoped they'd go away. And I found out that maybe it wasn't mental health. There were some hardware problems that were causing these software problems, because the last panic attack I had was the night before my first operation. I've had a little bit of the feelings that preceded them since then, but never had full panic attack since then. Also, for a few months before my first operation, I'd been bumping into stuff, always on my left-hand side. Always a bump on the left-hand side. That scared me. That scared me as well. Again, idiot, bloke, didn't do anything about it. And it turns out that I'd lost left peripheral vision. Still hasn't come back. It won't come back in certain areas. I've lost that. Now, if you lose your left peripheral vision like that, you'd notice straight away. But because mine was really, really gradual, my brain compensated a bit, and I didn't notice, really. And the time came when it really came to a head was in August of 2025. I was on holiday with my ex-wife. One day, I spent too long in the sun. That night I had this really, really bad headache. It's horrible. But I'm lucky, certainly for now, that's the only really bad headache I've had as part of this. So I had this really, really bad headache. And then that week, I was bumping into things last time. I crashed the car on holiday, so went into the back of it. It was on the left-hand side. I was in Europe, so I was on the left-hand side driving, and I just didn't see it, just went into the back of it. We were walking around a town that we visited, and I was really, really slow. I didn't really notice, but she did. I was really slow in the airport, and I was just putting this down to sunstroke. It's just sunstroke. Didn't go away when we came home. She told me that I should go to hospital. Being an idiot, being a bloke. No, I'm not going. I'm not going just for hospital. I'm not going to hospital just for sunstroke. I'm not going to waste their time. Anyway, she made me. She convinced me. And she saved my life, and I will be forever, ever grateful. So she made me go to hospital. Thank you very much to all the NHS staff. I'm so grateful at Bradford Royal Infirmary. They looked me over and went, yep, sunstroke. Looks like sunstroke, but we'll just give you a CT scan to be sure. Dear viewer, sunstroke, it was not. I didn't go home that night. I didn't go home for some weeks afterwards because I was transferred pretty quickly to LGI. Thank you to all the NHS staff in Leeds. And they cut out most of a slow-growing tumour. It was what's called a glioma, which was good. It wasn't a cancerous one. It hadn't come from somewhere else. My brain was growing itself, so my brain was and is trying to kill me. But massive. The first consultant, Miss Livermore, thank you very much, mate. I am so grateful. Said at one point it was like 14 centimetres around. That's about 5.5 inches. Said it was like having half a grapefruit in my head. It had just been growing, squeezing. But he got, with his massive skill, got most of it out. Thank you so much. And they said I could look forward to possibly years without noticing it all. I'd have some scans just to check on it, but they said I could probably look forward to years and years. At some point it was always going to start growing faster, and it was always going to turn to cancer at some point, but could be years. And that was my first introduction to my tumour. People said that I am dealing with it really well. I've had to change the way that I think about my life, but how I live my life. I've had to think a lot more about living in the short term, sometimes just one day at a time. It's been a huge change. When I was having panic attacks, I was always down. I was always sad. I was worrying about the panic attacks. I was worrying about the life in general. I just seemed to be worrying all the time, worrying about my health, worrying about my life. But I can't do that now. I can't worry because I've got tons to worry about if I put my mind to it. So I have to try and do things that take my mind off what's going on in here. I've got to live life now. I can't be always looking back at stuff that I've done, stuff that I haven't done. You know, that sent me really, really depressed. If I'm looking back, I could be always looking at the bad things. I've told you about one particularly bad thing I did, the worst thing that I've ever done. But I've done other bad stuff as well. I can't go back and look at them and worry about those and analyse those and go where. If I do look back, I've got to think about the really nice stuff, the good stuff, the lovely stuff that I've done. And there've been loads. Successes with students, fabulous holidays, friends that I've made, places that I've been, things that I've done. And as for the future, who knows? I can't worry about that. But what I've got to do is make sure that I'm kind to myself. I've got to give myself a pat on the back. I've got to treat myself to new experiences, to fun experiences. I've got to be kind to myself and look after myself. Most of all, I've got to be good to myself. I've got to be grateful. I've got to be really, really grateful. Grateful for the times that I've had, the time that I've got left. I've got to do as much as I can. I've got to make as much as I can of the time I've got left. I've got to have some fun. I really hope these videos give you an idea here or there. Maybe give you a nudge. Give you a nudge to be good to yourself, to be kind to yourself, to be grateful for what you've got, and maybe a little bit just to live for today and not worry about the future nor the past. I hope you enjoy. If you do, please like and subscribe. But please, most importantly, if you're doing something that you think I should try, if you're doing something that you think is going to help me, please get in touch. Please let me know, because I could do with all the help I can get right now. Thank you.